Now that we've finished all four parts for the clamp, it's time we put them together in one assembly. Now, I've just got them all open here so you can check. We've got the clamp brackets, clamp handle, threaded bar and swivel head. If you haven't got any of these, you need to go back to the other videos and make them to make sure you've got all four. Okay, now you don't have to open them like this. I've just opened all of them up in SolidWorks at once so I can just show you the individual ones. Okay, so to make an assembly we're going to start with a new document, but this time we're going to do an assembly rather than a part. It is useful for you to have all of your parts that you've designed open in the background, because as you can see when we begin our assembly we have a list of our open documents. This is where it also comes in useful to name your parts appropriately. So for example, I've chosen to call mine by the exact name I've used in each video, so clamp bracket, clamp handle, swivel head and threaded bar. It would get confusing if all of these were part 1, part 2, part 3 and so on. So to start with, I'm just going to click the clamp bracket and it instantly sort of hovers with my mouse. Okay, and I can drop it wherever I want, so I'm just going to drop it there. To insert more components, just hit insert components at the top, and the next one I'll do is the threaded bar to start with. Okay, so as you can see at the moment I can put this anywhere. I can even put this through my clamp. Not to worry, just drop it anywhere you want and I'll show you how to attach it. So this threaded bar needs to pass through this hole here. Okay, this is also a threaded hole. So how we're going to do that, we're not actually going to get SolidWorks to screw it in. We're just going to tell SolidWorks that this needs to go into there, and it can spin and it can move up and down, but it cannot come out of this hole that we've drilled. So we use a tool called Mate. So click on Mate and then it asks us Mate selections. So one of our things we want to put together is that face, the rounded edge, and one of them is the rounded flat edge of the hole. Avoid using the edges like these. I'll zoom in so you can see that a bit clearer. Okay, it's just asking me to select where I'm going to mate, and I want the flat edge. Okay, so that larger orange section, not this section or the bottom one. So I'm just going to click that, and as you can see, if I zoom out, it's automatically repositioned my threaded bar so it's in line with that hole. If I press OK, I'm just going to press OK again on Mate. If I look around my model now, it's in the wrong position at the moment, but I can move it about wherever I want and it will just go anywhere but still be mated to that hole there. Okay, it's looking a little bit long at the minute, but I'll show you how to change that in a minute. So the next component we're going to add is in fact the swivel head. So I'm going to click the swivel head and I'm going to drop it somewhere appropriate. Okay, and this one's slightly different in that we're going to have to mate it in a slightly different way. We're going to mate this flat at the top of the revolve. Again, I'll zoom in so you can see it a bit clearer. So this flat piece here, this donut shape, with this flat piece. You should be able to get the hang of this fairly quickly. Okay, now what it's done there is put it the right way round, but nowhere near it at the moment. When you mate a flat to a flat, it puts the drawing in line with it, so no matter where I position it, it's always going to be, if I look at it from the side, that flat there is always in line with that flat. This time I'm going to also mate that section inside there with this line. And I'm going to press OK, OK on mate. Now, as you can see, our swivel head has just dropped onto our threaded piece of bar there and formed quite a nice fit. The swivel head in real life will look slightly different, and it will actually swivel. In SolidWorks, this is as good as we need to get for a model. We know it fits and it's the right size. The last piece to put on is our handle. So we're going to insert components once again, clamp handle, and I'm just going to put it down there. This one's fairly straightforward. We're going to click mate. I'm just going to zoom in on the section to make sure I click the right thing. I'm going to click that inside where we did the threaded section before, and I'm going to thread that, or mate that, sorry, should I say, onto the threaded bar. And press OK. OK. Now this actually can be moved up and down wherever we want, but I would like it nice and flush with the bottom of it, so if I leave it down there somewhere, we'll look from underneath and we're going to mate this section with the flat end, and as you can see it slides on right where we want it, right on the end. So the clamp is actually finished now, and you can still move it around, so you can actually move this section like you would in real life. You can move it too far and it'll go straight through your clamp. Okay, but for the purpose of modelling, that is more than enough. One thing I mentioned earlier, this threaded bar actually looks a little bit too long. I think I might have got the measurement wrong. If you find yourself needing to change any parts once you've assembled them, it's really quite easy. You just click on the part and then you get all these different options pop up. I'm going to open this part. Okay, so I'm back to my threaded bar on its own. I'm going to go back to my boss extrude here on the left. I'm going to right click that and press edit feature. Now instead of 60mm, I'm going to go for 50 this time and press OK. I just need to save that, and I'm going to minimize this, and as soon as I open my assembly this pops up. I'm just going to click yes, and it's updated my part, but it's remembered all my mates on here. So it's shrunk this bar to an appropriate size whilst remembering that this handle was attached to it originally, so it can be reattached in an appropriate place as well. Okay, so that's it. Now if you remember, we rendered each of these parts individually. Now that they're in an assembly, we can preview. I'm just going to do a preview window, preview the part as a complete assembly. So this should look a lot better now. We've got a few different colours and a few different materials involved. Okay, so these will take a little bit longer to render because we're using a variety of materials. Of course, I'm hoping your backgrounds will be slightly better than this. I've just chosen the standard one. Now, as I said before, the threads don't show up on the rendering, unfortunately. It takes an awful lot of computer power to do that. So for our case, we're not going to worry too much about the threads on the rendered drawings, but we will on the other types of drawings, which I'll show you how to do next time.